right, get tractor ready. Let's go mow. Gotta get some go juice. Soybean field. Good morning, Ed here at Winged Airfield, and we are back from Oshkosh. It has been about a week since we've been back. Fifth wheel's here. So today we're gonna get back out here in the garden. It's amazing how fast weeds will grow up in 10 days. So we're going to take care of the weeds first around the plants, and then we're going to move on to the sunflowers. And some of the giant sunflowers, we're going to cut the stems down a little further, put them on top of the wire tunnel that we have there, let the birds get at the seeds there. We've got some more corn to plant. We've finished off the Kate, and we've finished off a couple others. Got a new batch coming in, so we're gonna get some more corn planted in there. First, gonna grab some breakfast. You see the sun's not quite up yet, so I'm gonna grab a bite to eat, get the tools, and get to work. See you soon. Here's one of the giant sunflowers we're gonna put up here and let the birds eat them. Birds are actually doing pretty good keeping pests away, so we're just gonna give them a little extra for as long as it'll stay there. This was the latest sweet corn that we ate up. This is Eden. It's from Haas. Some more coming up over in this area. We planted Natalie over here. Not all of it came up. I think rabbits got to them. Put these up on top. This is an experiment. Not sure if the birds will come up here or... So we're going to try it with a few, see what happens. This sweet corn area here, we're going to get cleaned up. We'll be able to get one more batch planted in here before it's too late in the season. Turned the sprinklers off on these earlier this week. Give the soil a chance to dry up so these stalks come out pretty easily. These will mulch up out back. I'm not too worried about getting all the root out, because where the drip tape is, we're going to plant on the other side to where these were. Here's one of the baby stalks that suffered from not getting enough water, and I dropped him, but you can see the worm damage. This small little plot was Kate. These matured while we were gone, so we let our friends come out here. This is August 1st. If we got planted again this weekend, end of September, early October. So here in South Central Kansas, that's not too bad. We're going to have heat days up until probably second week of September. It'll definitely be hot enough. So next up, I'm going to get the tiller, and I'm going to till it up, because we're not going to be able to get all this weed and grass out of here by hand. This crop of corn is Ilian. It's come along pretty good. There's still some short plants, not uncommon. These are pretty tall actually for sweet corn. This would be kind of normal here. I did plant them a little close together, doing that to see how they would do, but I will probably next time plant them a little further apart, give them more room. But the leaves are really long. These leaves are 3 foot long. It's incredible. So this drip tape is buried, so we're not wasting too much water there, and this crop is going good. I've got some new pesticides showing up today, because these ears are ready to start treating. So to prevent the moss and stuff, my commercial growing friends, eating at home, a worm, not a big deal. You cut that end off, the rest of the corn is fine. Really nice silk coming out here. But when you're doing commercial, nobody wants to buy corn, sweet corn, with a worm in it. So commercial growers, they have to fight the worms. If they don't, they go out of business. So the commercial growers will treat, they typically do 2 rows at a time with a space for a tractor, 2 rows at a time. And then they can, or they'll do 4 with a space for a tractor and then go through and they have a side sprayer. And they're targeting, you're not spraying the whole plant. You're just targeting this area here where right here's where ears going to be coming up, where the ears are, because you only need to treat the silk. You don't have to spray everything. You only need to get the silk treated, and they will do it every 3 to 5 days. Well, it's silking until the silk starts to dry. So this is an excessive example. This is popcorn. That silk is completely dry, but some of the other ones, once it starts to dry back, the pollinations happen and the moths aren't going to lay in that drier silk. So we're going to hit this one hard in hopes that we have greater than 90% success with corn here. Here's the popcorn, and it's drying down. You can leave it out here to dry down, or you can take it and hang it up. I don't know why they hang it. Maybe it's just easier because they can clip it on here. So here's the popcorn with the silks. This area here, it just didn't get pollination. That's those little silk. So every piece of silk goes to a kernel. And popcorn is smaller. So people may say, oh my gosh, that's a small ear. Popcorn is. So popcorn is also known as waxy corn. And waxy corn means that each of these kernels have a coating on them. You'll hear field corn referred to as dent corn. And they'll harvest it when it starts to dimple in. If you ever have some older sweet corn, you'll notice that the kernels will start to dent in the center. That's known as dent corn. These are a little small. These did get hit with some drought problem with irrigation early on. This is our potato bin. When the plants dry up, potatoes are ready for harvest. These were ready a couple weeks ago and we were gone. So we're going to see what we have. Yep. These kind of waited too long. I'm going to leave them in there for fertilizer. This one might be salvageable. It's not mushy. That's a tiny little one. So these plants really suffered when we had that 6 inches of rain. Even though these tubs have drains at the bottom, it was saturated. You can see the white on the compost breaking down. I'm going to harvest off the ears from the popcorn now. This popcorn is called Pop Top. It's supposed to, when these kernels pop, they should do that big top explosion, not the little cauliflower looking popcorn, but like a mushroom shape, like you see it in movie theaters. This strip has a leak, so I'm going to replace it. Very simple. Up at the valve, there's a little lock, pulls right off. I like to take the new one and cut right after the emitter. Slide it on without getting grass in there. And then tighten it up. Open the valve back up. Come down to the end. And here also I like to cut and leave it. Here's the emitter. I like to leave a lot of space so when I go to put the end on, I have room to fold it up. So these ends, slide it in, take it up to the emitter, and fold it over. I like to fold it at least 4 times. Then I know it's not gonna come out of there. Sometimes your distance that you fold is off. You have to redo it and then pull it snug. When I bury, I always leave a little slack up here. And this hose expands as it inflates with the water. These little emitters need a little bit of pressure behind them. There, and it's working. So here's the valve. This valve controls this manifold all the way down, and then each strip line has a valve on it, so I can control each plot. This section here, we're going to be planting Kate Standard Cruiser. Plant 1 1/4, 1 1/2 inches deep, which is a little shallower. A lot of field corn is going to be 2 inches deep. Soil temper is plenty high enough. Spacing 8 to 12 inches, but the length of my foot. Lightly covered seed. Plant's going to be a little over 6 foot tall. And this is 77 days to maturity, so August 2nd, so we're looking 2 weeks into October. It'll take best advantage of the drip irrigation. Kate is one of our favorites, along with Natalie, my farming buddy up in New York. He advised me to try Kate, and we like it. This plot over here, we're going to be planting Eden Hybrid. This one's even shallower, 1 inch, 6 to 8 inches. You can plant them a little closer. Typical row spacing, days maturity, 75 days. So another October one. Here's what Eden looks like. It is a white corn, white sweet corn. We just harvested the last of it that was growing this past week. We've got like 4 more ears left to eat. I'm back after our lunch. GoPro shut down due to the heat on the last one, so I just let it go. Over here we're going to plant Natalie. Natalie 1 1/4, 1 1/2 deep, spacing 8 to 12, lightly covered, about 6 foot tall plant, and about 72 days to maturity. Rows are all prepped. Now I need to move this drip line. I explain a little bit why I need to move irrigation for these new drips in this little plot. So our main line comes in through here, terminates here with a hose bib. This line with the valve feeds this entire back row. These do not have a shutoff here. These were an early product that we used. They don't have a shutoff on the pipe, so I need to make a bypass so I can shut this row off separate than the others. So for example, this crop of Ileani is starting to silk out, which means it's going to need a lot of water, but these won't need as much water. Currently, I don't have a way of regulating this. The other plots all have a valve at the end, which is similar looking to this valve, that I can regulate how much flow goes through there. Now you can do the regulation with your drip emitters at different gallons per hour. Because we're not very big, I didn't want to buy multiple types of drip emitters, so I just bought one and then self-regulate with the valve. We use these landscape staples to hold everything in place. I'm going to keep this valve here so we can shut the entire line off if we need to do maintenance of some sort. Black pipe gets really warm. Then I'm going to install a T. It's warm enough outside I can do this without having to heat the pipe up. Then I'm just going to do a short little elbow. And this line is also going to have a shutoff valve on it, independent of the others. I'm going to put a valve at the end of this for a shutoff since I don't have anything else to use. And I can always flush this line out. Now to hook these back up. All right, show you what we've done. Here's the main line coming in, terminates there with a hose end. This very far south line feeds all the way down. Teed off for this block, now I have control for this block. That shuts off the entire row. I reuse this valve here just because it was there. It works good as a coupling. And then that could shut down the rest of that if we needed to. So we're back up and running with irrigation. Here's what the corn looks like. Hey, good afternoon, Ed here at Winged Airfield. Follow up on beginning of this video. So here's the after transformation. Whew, there was a lot of work. It was incredible how much grew in 10 days. So onions still doing good. There were some other onions, carrots. They were drowned out. They didn't make it. There were a couple of different lettuces here. They were under 1.5 inches of water for almost a week. Those little ones have come back. So melon are doing good. We've got the melon up on the trellis growing. The bean bushes are starting to come back. There's a couple of flowers on them. They were drowned out and looked really sad. Marigolds are doing great. Tomatoes are starting to come back. That's going to be our next project. We need to get these tied up, trim the bottom 3. Another nice marigold there. Marigold, more tomatoes over there. This pumpkin is starting to come back. It was dying down. It almost looks like it's too much water, but underneath is not bad at all. This one here, I do not know what happened with this one. There's all of a sudden, overnight, boom. So, about ready to turn off. They've got some good moisture in them. These here are almost ready to start treating for worms. And this here you just saw, just planted that. Watermelon, there is a melon coming up. Finally, most of them died, drowned out. Over here, the sunflowers that were all dried up and no more seeds, took them out and replanted some more. They're there. But we definitely got to do something to help with drainage. I would like to get a ripper for the tractor, even if it's that one bottom ripper, and rip this ground up a little bit so it breathes a little better. We're going to bring in a lot of compost and work it in. And we have some We have some cover crop we're going to put on here that's going to drive roots down and help break up that soil over the winter. But strawberries are actually coming along. We have really been pumping water to these strawberries, and they're actually coming along. Next year, this is going to be, I think this is going to be a really nice crop next year. So that's it out here. I got the tractor warming up. Going to go mow next. Though I can't get right up next to it with a tractor, but from where I'm at, they've never bothered us. We gotta be careful of junk in it. This mower does a really nice job. Do a close pass, that way when I come back by I can be a little further away. Nope, kicking up some dust. I'll move by them pretty quick. I'm going to back up right in here. Kick it out. Back up and get this other pass. And that's it for in here. The rest of that I got to get with the riding mower. Now we're going to go down around the field. This area here we walk, so we keep the grass mowed down, keeps the ticks off you. This area right here needs to get cleaned up. There's a lot of brush in there from fallen trees. My first thought was, let's hire some goats, have them come out here this fall, and they could get this entire hedgerow cleaned up in one day. There's a couple of local farmers, they'll bring out like 70 to 100 goats and they'll just mow through all this and clean it up. And then over the winter, it'll be all cleaned up. We'll be actually be able to see in there. Put down in the comments, what are your thoughts on having goats come out here? There's a lot of poison ivy in there. They'll clean it all up. Now granted, the twigs and brush that's remaining, the woody material, and the roots are still going to be contagious because it's going to have the oil, but at least we'd be able to see. We won't have all the vegetation to look through. All right, back to mowing. Gotta get some goat juice. Doesn't take long. It's only about a 15-gallon tank. Pick that up off the marketplace. 50, I think it's 56 gallons. Look, it's strawberry flavored. That's good. And then solar panel, keep the deep cycle battery charged. Back to work. All right, in here in the airplane, and the last thing to do is to check the fuel quantity indicators, and that is accurate, and now that one is accurate. So what I did is I've drained them down. The right tank had more fuel to come out, so it had to drain down. So what I was doing, I was checking the empties after replacing the fuel sending transmitters, and then I just filled the right tank full. I put everything in the right tank, and the left tank was just below a half. And what I've got is I've got the fuel selector valve right down here. So it has a left, a both, and a right, and then an off. What I do is I have it on both. What's going to happen is the higher tank is going to equalize with the lower tank. So fluid always finds a equilibrium, and that's what it's doing now. And I will check them. So I'll give the plane a little rock. You can see the needle wiggle a little bit. So the floats are working accurately.